Hey, welcome everyone on the owl. We're gonna have pledge of allegiance by Bob. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Sit down, Bob. Thank you. Welcome. Oh, I thought I was moving forward. Attendance. Everyone's in the room. Al, are you on the owl?
I had an email that said he got on at like 4:15.
Oh, Al, are you there?
He was, I logged him in.
Okay, well,
Hang on, let's see if we can.
no,
Hey, well, he was on for a minute and now he's off again. I don't know.
We just doesn't come to the meeting.
I'm gonna call him just to see if there's an issue because he'll. Call Al Taylor's cell. Maybe call him from his cell.
No, I should use the computer audio probably.
Phone is slow. That's strange.
They must have just thought it was like a normal meeting.
Sorry, he was just on there.
Yeah, maybe he thought it was a normal meeting time.
No. I mean, how long was he on there? 5 minutes?
But he was waiting since about 4:30 and then I let him in at like 10:02.
Okay, so he, something went on or something's changed. You trying to get on? We lost you. He's trying to get. Okay, very good. We'll check, just checking, thanks, fine. He got disconnected or whatever, he's trying to get logged back on, so, okay. Attendance, so we are all here, Al's not on the owl as we speak. Amend the agenda, no, I don't
Not
have,
till he gets back. Well, it's not a special meeting, so you can. Like a spur of the moment 18-hour meeting.
call the special meeting.
Well, yeah, I guess it is a special.
So we didn't have to amend the agenda anyways, do we?
No, we don't.
Okay, moving on. Public comments, or? None. Cindy? Okay,
I'm liking this.
so far you are, but you are. I'm gonna open the public hearing on the 2024/2025 budget. So,
If anybody is online that would like to speak, they need to unmute themselves and make a
comment
comment.
right now. We'll do Powell first.
So Dave, it's Vic. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So how do you want to go through the Parks and Rec thing? I was going to go through each individual line item that was, not sort of the normal stuff. But I defer to you. How do you want us forward with it?
After I close the public hearing, how's that? We're just presenting the budget now, and then we can talk about it right after I close the public hearing and open the special meeting.
Anybody else go on the owl, wanna make any comments?
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know at the last meeting, there was discussion about an improvement relative to Parks and Rec. The budget I have was dated February 11th. Is that the one that we're talking about tonight? Or was there any changes made after?
There wasn't any changes made after the one,
On the
that
11th.
you have, it should be the same.
Thanks.
Yeah, that should be right. Nothing, question? No, all right, well, let's close the public hearing. At 5:05 and open the special meeting at 5:05 and 15 seconds, I guess. Okay, so now, Beck, can you hear me? No? Beck, you there? There you are you there?
Has Al joined yet?
No, Al hasn't joined. Beck, are you there? No, that went away? That's technology. Is he still on there?
Vic, can you hear us? You need to unmute yourself.
You gotta love this. It's worked every meeting.
Rick, I'm gonna
I'm-
mute you so you don't have,
There you go.
Oh, there's somebody.
not you, Rick, that's Vic Pratt. Vic, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
You can now.
I'm very intermittent. I keep getting knocked off. I'm gonna try to get on with my phone and cell.
Okay, well, go ahead. We have you now.
So, I've missed everything that's been set up to this point, but, I'm not sure how you want us to proceed. There are some specific items that we had asked for. I was gonna give you a little background on each one of those.
That's fine.
Okay, under the professional services, there's $10,000 for, the
And he's out.
no idea whether we'll need to spend any money, and GTRLC, since we submitted the budget, said that they don't think we need to move forward with that, so that's a contingency that can be
Right.
dropped out.
Can I stop you for a minute? Go back to 10,000, because right after that, you blurted out.
Okay, that is a contingency amount.
Okay,
Al and I put that in there in the event we needed to spend any money with this project. But GTRLC has since said that we shouldn't need to budget for that.
oh, okay.
That's the wetland assessment, the environmental assessment, Vic, right?
That's a contingency and we can pull it out.
Okay,
That's the wetland thing you just said, right?
Yeah.
That's the 10,000 for environmental assessment,
Okay, yep,
title search,
title
pre-trans.
search, okay. Yeah,
Okay. Next, what's
The
your next
second-
item?
Next item is the trail system. Dave, I know that you had spoken to some people about that, and if you could give us a little update on who you spoke to and what they requested. It's my understanding.
Goodbye.
Okay, can you hear, if you can hear me, so I talked to the gal from the state of Michigan Highway Department that's gonna do the M22 improvements. And which is for
Dave,
next year.
Yeah, could you explain what, who you've talked to and what they were requesting of us in terms of a plan?
Yes, okay. So next year, they're doing the improvement on M22 from the village north.
8 mile.
I'm sorry, the edge of the village, it's not quite, 8 mile north on 22. I asked about doing something about trails, if there was open to discussion about, putting a bike trail or something along that stretch and whatever. She said it's too late to do that under the current project, because that's strictly regrind the road and cap it, okay? We wanted to do that. We need to get a hold of them, start a project. It would be a whole separate project. They would partner with us and we'd seek grant funding. Cause she said it takes a lot more, between surveying. Cause you're going off the road, you're going on the private property, figure out where that is. And you could start that now and they would partner with us to seek grant funding to do that. Because there's no money in the budget for doing M22 to do that.
Yes, there is.
There is?
Yes,
No, I mean their budget,
yeah,
States.
MDOT is giving the what is it, Northwest? Um,
Network circle.
Yes, and that is, there's budget money that was given to MDOT or will be given to MDOT to do things along the M22 route that we just had qualified as a scenic highway. So it's $5,000 to $10,000 or something like that. It's not a big deal, but they know what we're looking for, and that is how do you add trails? So that group's just getting started again.
Right, but what I'm saying is they don't have a bunch of pot of money allocated for that. They want to start working with us, but we need to talk about it, Parks and Rec. It has to be in our Parks and Rec plan
Yeah.
to back up the need for it. So we need to make sure it's in the Parks and Rec plan, which I don't know how it's listed right now, Al, do you?
I don't recall.
The master plan or the Parks and Rec plan?
Parks and Rec's plan, it should be in the master plan too. I mean, really, it should be both places.
It is on the master plan on page 70 is an action item, trail systems.
Okay,
Okay,
okay. It's gonna be very important to have that in there, otherwise they won't even look at it. So we can start that conversation.
The other thing that it was tied to quite a bit was Manistee County Trails Group. They're raising money right now for Manistee for trails that connect the Gaylord area and the Cadillac area to Onekama Township and Manistee. And that's a key thing. If we get some of that money, then money becomes a lot easier to get.
Al, is that for all trails or is that for dirt trails? Cause I know that they were just talking about dirt trails for all of these razors and everything else that's going around.
Yeah, now there's more people asking for access to the things. It's being driven by the snowbirds, you know,
Well, now there's dirt birds or
Yeah,
something
whatever.
too.
But the deal with the state is a bike path along 22, not those other trails. Not saying you
Right.
can't
That's
pursue
what I-
both of these things, but they're two different
That's what
items.
I'm asking, is
Yeah,
there
it's
two
two
different
different-
groups or
two
is
different
the
things.
trails thing all one okay,
Two different things.
okay.
That's why I have to make sure we spell out what trails you're talking about. You can
Right.
pursue the other trails. I think that's a great idea. But let's not confuse the issue if you're gonna ask for grant money with MDOT and partner and
You have
do
to specify bikes, basically, bike trails.
bike or
something.
walking trail. I guess you'd call it a walking trail too, right? If it was along
Right.
22, I don't know. I don't know what the correct terminology is.
Vic, are
Narrow.
you back on?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You need to mute your computer.
We can hear you twice.
All right, I'm gonna close the computer.
You there now?
I can hear you. I don't think all the videos are working. Do I have video with you guys?
We can hear you, Al.
Yeah, but you have video as well? Probably not.
No, we don't, do we? No, we can hear you though, so.
Vic, are you on with your phone or not?
I am on with my phone. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead, continue then.
Okay, I have a
Oh,
question,
wait a
just if we're gonna go down your list. So the environmental one you said is a contingency. Does that mean you want it taken out of the budget or you want it left in the budget?
I think that it is an overstatement of what we would possibly need. So for now, I think you can pull it out. Just know that there could be some small expenses that come up this year, but I don't think we need to budget for it. That was a contingency amount.
Okay, can you go back up to the very first item, which was awareness and communication? Talk about that.
That's down the list for me. Awareness and communications. So, and Rick, if you're on the phone, you can get involved with this at any point, but for the awareness and communication, it's a matter of, we don't know, we would like to spend some money either on the web, on social media, or just do an analysis of how we can better communicate with the public regarding Parks and Rec. We know that, we can do a better job than we're doing, and we'd like to get involved with some people who are experts in that area to help us either improve our web presence or improve our social media presence, but it's an investigation of how we can do better than we're doing today in communicating with the public, broadly speaking.
I
can
think
add to that.
that's.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Vic, continue.
That's really all I have to say on the awareness and communication is we want to engage with somebody to help us move forward in improving our communication skills with the public, be
Okay.
it web, social media, etc.
So I would ask that before you guys go full throttle down that path, we probably ought to educate the Parks Commission about what the current capabilities of the website are, which aren't being used. And then I think you can have a better idea of what can and can't be done, and then better spend those dollars.
Totally agree.
This is Rick. Vic asked me to talk. Can you tell me what you mean by educate the Parks and Rec group, please?
Yeah, so there's capabilities and things that the website can do. And I just think that the Parks Committee isn't aware of all the things that it can do. And I think once we have that conversation, and maybe that some of your communication issues might be solved without having to spend another dime, it's just actually using the things we're already paying for.
I think that would be great to have a work session to work through that. Absolutely.
But I'm okay with leaving some money in there, but I think we kind of need to make sure it's targeted and we know what it's being used for, because we're not gonna go out and redo the whole website just so we can get a few bells and whistles for parks. I think you could spend some money on that. I think some of the stuff is just having a Facebook presence, perhaps, if the board wants to have a policy for that, or having Instagram. That's how a lot of people get their information, more so than the website. So I think your money would be better spent on social media initiatives personally, and those can be pretty low cost.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. This is Rick. The initiative was not to redo the existing website, it's just to enhance it and try to figure other social media avenues to leverage some of the assets we have that are underutilized in the system.
I think a workshop would be a great starting point, and there are several members of Parks and Rec work with, whoever on the township board. Are you suggesting maybe our web provider could help us get educated, or just you and Shelley can help us get better educated?
I can walk you through what the different capabilities are, and then if we have more technical questions that I can answer, we can just call our support people there and they can help with that.
Dick, I'm pretty familiar with the new website that we had and the one that we had. And there are some differences. I agree with that. I think it's worthwhile sitting down, listening what the site's capable of doing, and then going from there. Now, don't make the assumption that everybody knows what needs to be done, because I don't think we do.
Totally agree with all that. So if you're okay with keeping some amount in the budget, but
We're gonna leave the 5 million there.
Okay.
So
the
go
item-
next.
You can get going with your budget, you never get done.
Go ahead, next.
On my list next is the trail system, and Dave, you had spoken about that. I wanted Rick, if he would please speak to the meetings that he has had, so that he can get all of us and you up to speed, and then we'll go from there. So Rick, would you brief the group?
Sure. We started looking at the initiative and action item on the master plan. From there, the first thing we did is make sure it was aligned with the Manistee County plan. We reached out to Top of the Trails in Michigan, the director there, who does it in the Leelanau area. He took us to Rob Carson in the Network Northwest. Rob was very helpful. He connected me with Heidi Fanoff, which maybe is the person you talked to, Dave. She made us aware of the entire paving project, which is, to your point, 8 Mile all the way almost to Arcadia. She let us know what grants are available. Rob also set up a conference call with Katie in Manistee, who's also representing Parks and Rec, to make sure it was aligned along those ends. All entities said before you go ahead and go down the grant process, you need to get some kind of feasibility going on. So we received 3 quotes: Spicer, Grosland Zeebeck, and Goody Frazier on what that would cost. We have those three put together. I had a separate conversation again with M22 this morning, or MDOT, which is Heidi. She made us aware of a new grant that's coming through by Blue Cross and Blue Shield to keep their nonprofit status. They have to do fund community type efforts. They have a new grant put together specifically targeted for Northern Michigan trails and wellness, which is an opportunity for us to go. We also had conversation with Sarah from the Manistee Community Fund, who supports kind of trail type projects. So we've had a lot of conversation with different people, and the common theme is you need to do some homework first before you go down the process. And that's how we came about the feasibility study in that price range. Happy to answer any questions. I just went high level on all the work we've done so far on this. And
Rick,
we-
I gotta,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
We would obviously, per the master plan, partner up with the planning commission to take this initiative on once it's funded.
So there was a study done a while back, that showed, and I can't remember who did it, one of those consultants. Vic, I think you have it, but, it talked about the trails across the wetlands, that was, the conservancy project, and it talked about some other connectivity. Is this gonna look holistically at all walking and biking trail opportunities in the township? Is that the idea?
Yes.
Okay,
Bucket grader.
just Beckett and Raider.
Bucket grader, well,
The other thing, there's to Al's point, there's the M22 byway, and there's a lot of focus on trying to do some activity, including M22 at the starting area by Manistee and Onekama, because there's not been a lot of activity done per se. Everything's been done north.
So I'm a cynic when it comes to studies at times, because I've seen too many of them get done and set on the shelf. And I'm not suggesting that that's what would happen with this one, because we've assembled a really good group on Parks and Rec. But I want to make sure that once, if we're going to commit money to doing this study, that we get an actionable plan out of it. Is that part of the potential scope of work?
Yes, that's the goal. We're basically taking the initiative that was approved by the master plan and activating it. And as soon as it gets funded, I'm going to work directly with Planning Commission to get this project going.
And I think that's hence where the grant money budget comes from. Am I correct on that?
The grant, yes, this is the, you got to put the, you got to do some work yourself before you go down the grant path.
Well, there's a couple of items here. I want to make sure that we're clear. The next line item is $10,000 for 5 grants, and I'll also have Rick talk a little bit about that. But one of the things that we're talking about in that grant allocation is to help us actually do these more complicated grants. But this $15,000 that is allocated for the trail master plan is the entry point to getting us to where we could actually go seek a larger grant using the plan that we've developed as sort of the goal of where we're going. So we have the $15,000 in there for the trail system, and another $10,000, which we believe would support as many as 5 grants. And Rick, if you would take a minute to help us understand why you came up with 5 grants and how much it is per grant, and just any other background you have on that.
Yeah, so we initiated, to Vic's point, the need to have a resource to help us get some of this money out there. Through our quotes that we've done on the trail program, one of the organizations, Gordy and Frazier, gave us a quote in that 2,000-2,500 range. I also reached out to Lisa Segal in the Manistee County Controller to give us permission to talk to their grant writer, who's Bill Kennis, who works freelance for them. She was very helpful and allowed us to go talk to Bill. I talked to Bill at length. He resides in Frankfurt and he's doing all the work in Manistee. And he was open to working with us. He let us know that Manistee was a priority first, and I said, that's fine, no problem. And he came up with that, depending on the complexity of the grant, that 2,000 to 2,500. Obviously, if it was a smaller grant, it'd be less. But that's a sweet spot. There's multiple grants out there. There's a DOT TAP fund, which would be the master plan. There's the Manistee County Community Foundation. There's Michigan Natural Resources. There's a recreational passport. There's Spark. There's the one that Heidi Fanoff shared with me this morning when I talked to her at MDOT, which is the Blue Cross Blue Shield money. In that particular grant, as I mentioned, they pay for all the engineering and feasibility with a path. And there's no matching with that, and that's up to 500,000. No guarantees in life, but this is an avenue we think about. There was a study by University of Michigan last year done in the first quarter. It was a Michigan Public Policy Survey, and across villages and townships, one of the big thing that was lacking was their ability to have the resources to write grants. And there's a need to go externally for a professional service because they don't have the resources from that. So with all that, go ahead.
No, I think you're absolutely right, Rick. There's a lot of grant opportunities. Another one is the Land and Water Conservation Fund. There's the Great Lakes Fisheries Trust, but you gotta have the right application to meet their requirements. And I don't think that that's an outrageous amount. You know, a community foundation grant doesn't cost 2,000 to write, but a natural resources trust fund might cost 3 or 4.
That's
So
why I
think-
said it's about an average. They're small, medium,
Yeah.
large. We tried to put an average number in there for you.
Yeah, and I think that's great. I guess the question I have is, one of the areas we've struggled with is grant administration and seeing these things get closed out in the past. So if we decide to go down a path of writing a grant, that's one thing, and then if we are so happen to be awarded it, we just need to make sure that we've got the right folks and resources to be able to effectively administer and close those grants out and see them through.
Yeah, one of the changes, I don't know what changes, I'm new to the process, the big put in charge is they have champions of certain initiatives. So in this case, if it was written for a certain activity, that champion or that leader would be responsible for managing that all the way through the process.
Just one thing of concern that came up during all of these discussions the past 2 years about grants or trail systems, countywide or statewide trail systems, stuff like this. The one bugaboo that sits with Onekama is the potential for around the lake trails that may be coming to Manistee, so they can reroute the rail system and stuff like that. That's one of the big bullies in the room that sits back there and causes people to hesitate until they know where we're going with that.
Right, but you know, Al, that project's gonna take all the oxygen out of the room for years and years and years. It's
Yeah, I know.
multiple tens of millions of dollars to relocate that rail yard. As much as I appreciate the effort that they're doing to do that, and I hope it can happen, I don't see that happening anytime soon. And so I think-
But it does hang in the air, you know, I talked about Carson and some of those folks, and then at the end of the day, it's there in the corner.
It is, but I think we also need to be proactive and not be shy to ask for stuff because we can get things done a lot quicker than that project's ever gonna happen.
You know, when you get into these projects like the trail, there's a couple of check marks. They want to go through multiple municipalities, so that would be the village and the township. They want to ending in a connecting. They want to connect to a park. So there's a couple basic things that we already have these tools or these assets that we could activate that just allows us to have a better chance of getting the funding on the grant.
Hey, Rick, can we talk about this, but if you get a hold of Arcadia, they're gonna redo the road. What if you, I don't know, that's quite a big thing to undertake, but you have this bike trail go all the way to Arcadia to the walk on the lake there, the hook up to the boardwalk. You know, that would
Yeah,
be,
it's
I think,
it's
garner a
it's
lot
all-
of points.
Yeah, we got involved late on this. For example, when Heidi Fanoff told us about us, the engineering drawings are going to be submitted for this repavement in May. and then the actual activity is gonna be the following May. She said potentially you could delay it if you were ready to go with us. The only thing is, we need to make sure the paving project stays within that calendar year. So right now, that paving project is 2025, May, it could move third or fourth quarter. I don't know if we'll be able to be ready for that, but they would take that in consideration. Hindsight's 2020, I wish we could have worked on this a year ago and then went with that plan, but we are where we are today.
Rick, I've got a question for you in regard to what I've heard recently on the turning M22 into a 116-mile long bike trail. Was that MDOT was not going to go and try to increase the width of the road. What they would do is they add a foot to the current bike allowance and take a foot off of the automobile. Have you heard that?
There's a lot of conversations on a larger trail. And I'm to the point that was made earlier, Al, when you brought it up, I'm just trying to compartmentalize on a manageable project
Okay.
To get something going. You know, the sweet spot is about 3.5 to 4 miles. And then what you do is you bolt on top of that to slowly increase what's going on. MDOT connected us with two entities. One, two paths that are going on. We're benchmarking with Jeff Shaw, who's in Elmwood Township at the end of M22 on what they're doing. And then Dave Long, who's Blaine Township, which is Arcadia, they're doing some work. So we're trying to leverage what everybody else is doing and sharing together. And they've been very open on initial conversations that we've had with them. And that's all through that M22 Byway Committee, which I think you were a part of at one time, Al.
Yeah, I led it for a while and
I get
approved.
the point that I want to make to the board is that with respect to the $15,000, what we're proposing is to go forward with that plan so that we come up with a solid trail master plan that we can use going forward to seek grants. And with respect to the $10,000, that's an estimate, again, using that average between MCCF, which we can do by ourselves, up to the more expensive ones. But with each of these, this is an agreement in principle if you feel that you should agree in principle, and then we will come to board meetings with specific requests for each of these items going forward.
Before we spend any money.
Yes.
Right. I'm fine with that.
You're, all we're here is to make a budget, approve a budget. They ask for a certain amount. You know, we've rebuilt this trail for 30 years. And
We've never done this before, though, gone this far.
oh,
Right?
well, no, they're projecting on going farther.
Right,
That's
so-
to justify the income, the money that they are asking for. But the mechanics of how they do it, I'm not interested.
Not interested in mechanics either. What's the next? Okay, so we just think
So-
they want to, go ahead.
To Dave, on the phone, I can't see your budget and I have my spreadsheet open. So I would ask you to tell me what we haven't covered. The one thing that's on the top of my list.
Go ahead,
Is
Ed's
this-
gonna tell you, what is it?
Okay.
The employee?
Yeah, I think we're good down to repairs and maintenance worker without employee, don't you?
Except they have something up in wages for maintenance workers, so those two are tied together. They need to
Where's
figure
that
out.
Are the maintenance wages for worker the same as the? What's the other part of the budget?
Yeah, so Vic, you've got, and we talked about this the other day, 17.5 is a placeholder for a maintenance worker
Oh,
up in your wages. And then you've got down at, in the repairs and maintenance, you've got 30 grand without employee and 15,000 with employee as a placeholder. So we need to talk through that a little bit, but I guess you have no wages in here for kind of, like we had a seasonal employee last year that did more on
yeah,
events.
they do. They have events only 6,000.
Oh, okay, so events only is the employee there. Never mind, excuse me. Is
That's
that
correct.
Okay, so talk us through the maintenance thing because there's a lot of discussion before you hire a full-time maintenance person beyond what they could do for parks.
Exactly. So we took a two-prong approach, and the board makes the decision on whether you're going to do an employee. In the event that you chose to do an employee, we believe that we would spend $17,500 for the Parks and Rec portion of that employee. And in the event that we had that employee, when you jump down to the actual repairs and maintenance, it would come in at about $15,000. If you choose not to do an employee, we're just not ready for that, then we would use the $30,000, and that's a dollar amount that, you know, Bob, you can speak to, but we used as the dollar amount that we assume we're going to need in the event that we're going out for new bids, new people, and that sort of thing. So,
Contract labor. Okay.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
I just said, oh, okay, contract labor, basically.
Correct. It's $30,000 for repairs and maintenance. If no employee, it's $15,000. If there is an employee, and the employee, we would estimate at $17,500, and that's for a maintenance worker, April through October, 31 weeks, 20 hours a week. We estimated $25 per hour, and that's how we came up with the $17,500. If we add that, then our repairs and maintenance, 15 grand. Don't, it'll be 30. That's our estimate.
There's one thing I didn't see in there, is that capital outlay that we would have if we hire a maintenance employee. You gotta give him the tools to do his work, or her work. And I didn't see an allowance for that in that regard.
Correct. What we have only put in there are the hours. So
That wouldn't come out of your budget.
Right. So we assume with respect to the tools that they would either be rented, and that would be the $15,000 to rent the tools that are needed. Or if we chose to actually do capital, I have not accounted for that. So the employee hours is strictly the hours, and then whatever cost would be in that $15,000.
Those would be township tools. It wouldn't be Parks and Rec.
Right.
So Vic, I'm speaking for myself only, I would recommend we strike the maintenance worker and the with employee and just leave without employee and leave it at 30 grand. That's more than what you guys normally spend, but also we've got to figure out the whole maintenance employee
Hey,
situation.
Jim, this is Rick. You just returned my call a little while ago.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick, can you mute
Hey,
yourself?
can't complain. I hope you're having a good week.
Rick,
Super.
Rick, you're not muted.
Is now.
Go ahead, Vic.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so yeah, no, I'm with you on if we go with the 30 and non-employee, because I knew that was a bigger decision, but I just wanted to give you some background information on it. So strike the employee at 17,500 and strike the 15,000. So we're in agreement with that.
I think one thing, Vic, you gotta keep in mind is we're still gonna have conversations about the employee. We gotta talk about how we're gonna maintain some stuff this summer, because right now we don't have anybody to do that work. So this is still gonna fluctuate, but I think for a placeholder, that makes sense.
Okay, I'm with you.
All right, and then can you just quickly talk about capital outlay, because then we're gonna have to move on.
I don't really have anything in capital outlay. The only other items that I wanted to make sure we talked about were the Cardin landscape. To, you know, if the board doesn't know, well, yeah, you should know. I sent a note. All the invasive species has been moved out of there, and what we would like to do is spend another roughly $3,500 to put some surrounds around the tree and put something in place where the park bench is going to go and make it a nice little park. That's one item that we wanted you to consider. And there's the seal coating at North Point, the expensive one being $8,500 for the loop and the $2,900 for the north parking lot. Those are the other, I think, out of the ordinary items that I wanted you to be aware of.
And those lots are starting to show cracks, so they need to be sealed, correct? They look like it to me a little bit.
That's Correct. We feel like we're risking infrastructure if we don't do this work.
Okay, yeah, I'm supportive of that. I just hope they kill all the weeds on the trail before they seal them. They don't just seal over them, because they'll just go right back through.
And the 9,400 was the other portion of that
Yeah.
walkway thing.
Yeah, so we have two items in capital outlay, Vic, that we added to your budget. You're half the walkway's 9,400. That'll not get paid until the next fiscal year, correct?
Okay, that's the Langland walkway.
And then the 15,000 that we talked about at our last meeting to support the pavilion in Onekama Park.
Correct. I had that in there. I didn't know whether you wanted that in our budget or you wanted that out of our budget.
Yeah, we put it in the parks budget because it makes sense, I think, to fit there, so.
Yeah, that's kind yeah.
That it?
I think unless anybody in Parks and
No.
Rec has something we've missed.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. We need to talk about anything else from everyone? I don't think so.
From him, no.
No, I don't, I mean, we went through kind of an overview of the budget the other night. You want me to hit the high points again?
Well, you can, or I talk a little bit about this. So we talk about an employee, we talk about this, if we're gonna talk about that. Somewhere in here, we've not talked about all the equipment that person needs.
Right.
And if you're gonna talk about that, you need to come up with a figure. I mean, you're talking about a pickup, a plow, a lawnmower, a tractor, a trailer,
Garage.
a garage, put all this, tools. $250,000.
You need to do a comparison.
That's what I'm saying.
With that, yeah, it's, I think that's a working item for the whole next year up until the next year's budget, just to see
Yeah, I
if that
don't-
makes sense.
I don't think
Okay.
it's all necessary in one year.
He's gonna mow grass, he's gonna pick up trash, he's gonna plow. So at some point, they're gonna need all the equipment 1 year. Plus the building to put it in.
Well, that's just a draft of.
No, I'm saying just need to talk about it. I don't say we do it. I'm just saying there's a figure there. We need to get all the figures together and say, to Ed's point, do we just still subcontract things out?
Well,
Is it
I would
cheaper?
like to subcontract out everything we think we need to do, like for normal repair and maintenance. Make sure we have a good scope of work and then see what that costs for a year.
Yeah,
We can't do that, but because with having Steve here, he was doing random stuff all over the place. I want to have very,
why don't, yeah.
very
Defined costs.
defined scope of work, figure out what it costs, and then we'll see, then we can make.
Make a informed decision. I agree.
I think you're still gonna need a building over there. That's just
Some
me.
point.
That's just me.
And depending on the size, you're gonna use it for recycling and just, I got some ideas there. You can
Right,
use,
I mean,
you can collect batteries. You can do all kind of collection things, certain dates here for recycling that we're not doing now, right? And then, but it has to be
but I
inside.
mean, with all that, with that job description, I think you need to add cemetery to it. Cemetery's not on there.
So, yeah. it
If you
should be.
add all that stuff on there, you might be surprised.
I agree.
If you
Okay.
take all those costs over the next year,
Man, them up. Okay, it's for discussion, I get it, so leave it, okay,
Just put cemetery in.
I am,
You know, does this person do the custodial stuff too?
yes, well, it doesn't say that.
Well, but,
You could.
I mean, you gotta keep them busy year round.
Can I add something, Vic?
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
these are the discussions that I think the most important discussions with regard to the employee. Alls we were trying to do was to give you a clear dollar amount for the things that we had detailed. And so all of those other things that you're talking about are outside of the scope. And then also, John Wemlinger submitted a bid to Bob on what it would cost to do an outsource, and he included a lot of items in there as well. So as you're having the discussion about the cemetery and all those other items, there's a document that Bob's got that you could add to the discussion just to make sure that all the bases are being covered in case we decide to move forward with this big decision.
he submitted a bid or a job scope.
It was a job scope.
You need a
Okay,
job
yes.
scope. It has nothing to do with the cemetery or anything.
Right.
A lot of it.
And yes,
I got that. We revamped it.
Okay, it had to do with
That's that.
duties for,
Yes.
yeah, I get it, okay, that's fine, Vic, we got that. Well, that's why I said we need to redo this and add all this other things up and then do a cost analysis. Okay,
Hey, Bob, I've got a question, and this is in regard to, what the contract that we did work on, and what we gotta do in the future. What's gonna happen with the petunia watering?
someone's gonna have to do it.
The PLA's issue.
Right now,
Is that in?
Steve Hall,
in the budget someplace?
as an independent
Apparently, Bob said that Steve's gonna contract with
PLA.
PLA as an independent contractor.
I know PLA pays $700-800 for that individual. I didn't know how much time that he was
That's
spending.
between PLA and Steve Hall.
That's gonna be between PLA and Steve Hall. I don't know what it'll be, that dollar wise, because.
Yeah, that's not township.
No. I'd like to get my trailer washed though, once in a while. Just so you know, I have to talk to somebody about that. Eventually, I'd like it back.
Can we?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Al. I digress.
No, I just think somebody's gotta put their finger on this one somewhere. I'll go back to the PLA.
Okay. Well, cause Steve's not working for us anymore.
Steve is not employed.
Steve is not an employee at the township anymore, Al. So we're not having discussions with him as an employee.
He contacted Mary Jo last week and talked to her. PLA is responsible for watering petunias. Mary Jo and Steve, as far as I'm concerned, they have agreed to something.
That answer that?
You gotta agree to do what?
I don't know. They've come to some agreement. You need to probably talk to Mary Jo, right?
Yeah, I'll talk with Joe. Somebody ought to make sure Steve's not negotiating for the township.
Not our employee.
What did he say? He's not our employee.
can't
Al, I didn't hear. What did you say? Somebody better talk to Steve about what?
Just so Steve understands that he's not speaking for the township, he's speaking for himself.
That's
Well-
all taken care of. Yeah, Bob took care of all that. We got keys and everything back from him.
Okay,
Okay. You want to hear anything else said? We talked about it. Does anybody want to?
Are we going, yeah, I got things to talk
Go ahead.
about.
You go,
I mean, are we talking more than just the footnotes? Are we talking the whole budget?
whatever.
So we've got the line items in here, and then we should talk about the wages and then.
Okay. Where are we at?
That's the wages.
So Ed,
Park's done.
it did this at 5 and 3%, Ed?
No, so
3%.
So inflation for the state of A proposal A rate is 5.1%. I think we adjusted wages up a bit last year to account for the really high inflation. So my suggestion, this is just a suggestion, is a placeholder, is that most of the hourly staff and the per diems go up around 4%. And that the elected officials are at 3%. There was a little bit higher number for the custodial because Shelley said that, that's probably out of whack. You've had conversations with her, right, on that she wanted more money. potentially.
Yes,
So that's a higher percentage, is all it is.
It's just for discussion.
what are we looking, okay, so we're looking at the 2025 column,
Yeah,
Correct.
okay. My input is, okay, so if she left today, we would be very hard pressed to find somebody under $20 to come in and clean. If we were to advertise it. I'm just throwing that out there. That's why I suggested $19.
what's your pleasure?
Well, I ain't cleaning.
I pay more than that for people to pick apples. I mean, you know,
This is-
I
that's why we're
can't
having
really
the
say
discussion,
much.
so if I make it 20, that's fine with me.
19.
Punch in.
19?
Yeah, punch it up to 19. That,
Under assessor should just say contract probably too, instead of NA.
Yeah. That's just, it's not an hourly thing.
No.
Under what? Assessor
Assessor is
is,
just by.
contract?
Per contract, that's all. Cause that's not going up. They signed out, I can't remember how many year deal for the same price, correct?
yes, I
Yeah,
believe
and then
so.
there's inflation adjustments.
And I don't know what the
But that's-
mileage.
but
That's not, that's not on the
That's
wage,
not
it's
in the
on, it's on the,
wages,
yeah, I
Can
agree.
you look up and see what the mileage rate is?
Oh, it's like, no, it's like 60, yeah, it's a big number.
You mean the
It
federal one?
was 0.655.
No, it's gone up.
6,000, I think. I'm not sure, but I think it's around there.
For 2024, it's 67 cents.
6, 7, okay, thank you. Okay.
Shelley, one thing, and I don't know. Can you talk a little bit about the recording secretary, what she wanted?
Yes, she wanted, if I remember the email correctly, she wanted $50 an hour. Can you pull that email up? I'm sorry, I can go
No,
print it out.
Hold on, I might be able, I might be
She,
able to find
or
it.
she wanted, okay, if anything over 3 hours, because she had a Parks and Rec meeting that went over
Over 90 minutes.
90 minutes, that's what it was, over 90 minutes. She wanted
$25.
$25 an hour, and in BSNA, we can't do time and a half.
Right. That's what the
So,
whole discussion was.
so we either have to do. I can't do like a recording secretary and a half wage type of
You
thing.
can't split them.
No,
You can put a limit on hours.
we
90
either
minutes.
have to make her an hourly person
Or a
or,
contract per meeting and payment per meeting.
Yeah.
One or the other.
right.
You can't have it say,
Right.
well, you can't say that in a normal
I
situation,
can't
but you
give
can't.
her a meeting and a half.
Can I ask you a
100%.
question? We're paying her as an employee right now instead of a contractor.
Yeah, we pay her per meeting. We pay her like $50.
1099 or W2 or?
I think
It's a
she's a W
We
two.
probably
She's an
should
employee.
switch
Maybe
her.
she's a 1099.
If it's a 1099, it's not a problem.
No, that's not again.
And she's a contractor, right? We don't, that's all she does. We contract her to come in and do the minutes for these meetings. She shouldn't be necessarily an employee.
She's,
Plus, I'm asking, are we deducting?
no, she's an employee. She's on the employee list because she's doing
She should be
almost
working-
every meeting for every group.
She should be working by the hour.
So that's why I can't pay her.
So we
a
need to
meeting
change it by
and
the
a half.
hour somehow, so.
So, yeah, I either have to give her an hourly wage
Okay,
or bump her up and give her like $100 a meeting or something.
Can't you set up
because-
2 pay items? One would be,
by the meeting.
one would be for a 90-minute meeting, $50, and then one would be for a longer meeting, and then it would be an additional 25, and then you just check both those pay items, and then she could get paid depending on what it was. I think you can do that.
And BSA, so can you enter?
But I'm not 100%.
So be
Two
like,
different, you got 2 different columns. One is
recording secretary A and recording secretary
Secretary
B.
S and L, returning secretary S, short, returning secretary L, long meeting. That's all, just coded.
That we could check, but I'm pretty sure. you can
Yeah,
do
I'm sure
something
you
like
probably
that.
could
That'd be the way
and
to
have
do
two
it.
different.
Yeah, just pick
I mean,
out the
well, what
one that,
would be the difference of per hour though?
what,
What's the difference really?
you'd have to build that in, so I don't know how you do that either.
Yeah, there's a way to do it. We'll just-
No, I mean, there's the meeting 2.5 hours, you pay her the long meeting, how much more do you pay her in the regular meeting?
Well, I can't remember what you requested.
It's, I can't find the email, I'll probably delete it.
It's probably like, it averages out to be
How long?
like $25 an hour. She said that you can't find a recording secretary under $22.50 an hour. or
Okay, does she
something
wanna
like
get
that.
paid 25 an hour?
Probably,
Why would we just do that?
I just give her an hourly rate.
That's way easier.
Forget all that nonsense.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
just do that then.
Let's do that. Would you be happy with that? Did that make her happy?
Oh, I think it would be,
Okay,
yeah.
that's,
And are you happy with the quality of them now? Is the key thing. Because if we're not, we gotta have that conversation with her before we raise her wages up.
I'm not gonna comment on that.
well, you'd have to ask the person who she's doing the minutes for.
Exactly.
Hey, Al,
Yes,
Are you happy with the quality of the minutes that were getting produced by the recording secretary?
In what group?
Parks and Rec.
Well, she
I-
does them for every group.
She does Parks and Rec, she does Planning Commission?
Parks and Rec.
So you can answer either one, planning commission or parks and rec.
Well, she does invasives, but Parks and Rec, Beata's gonna start doing them,
She is?
yeah.
Okay,
You forget that then.
you can forget that. So, well, you can still answer. Quality of work.
Kind of better than we were capable of doing without her.
I'm okay with that and we'll see where it goes.
Okay,
Question.
Yes,
My assessment is she does a good job for Parks and Rec. I just heard someone else is gonna do Parks and Rec.
no,
no.
Okay, no, I've been satisfied with the work she does.
Okay, that answers that. Okay,
Shelley, the only other thing this was just a flyer on me when I was just looking at stuff. You've got that cadet or no certification wage for fire and EMS. I know you guys are always scrambling for folks. Should we raise that up or?
we're going to 15.
But that was just me. I didn't talk to anybody.
Oh, no, I think that's, you're not gonna get anyone to pay them $11 an hour to do anything. I mean, plus take all that time.
Personally, I think you ought to have it higher than that.
Just for discussion.
it's up to you guys.
No certification.
I mean-
allowed. I mean, it's starting.
It might be.
You can only get
worth it, yeah.
$18 an hour at
The
McDonald's.
whole idea of the thing was, that's the way we set it up in the
Okay.
fire department, was that we're
Attract
trying
more
to
people.
encourage this person to get certified with money.
Yeah, that's
That's the
fine.
reward.
Well, it would be, it'd be go from 15 to 2150. That's a pretty
Yeah.
big reward.
Yeah.
But I don't know if 15 is enough to get people attracted to come in or not.
Not if they can fill
Should we
hamburgers for.
What do you
Well,
think?
you can't really do 18 if they're not certified, because it's a heck of a lot to go through the certification. And the other ones are only getting
Well, how do you
21,
feel?
you know.
You feel 15?
It's okay.
I would think
All right.
15 would be, yeah,
Okay, well, you're on that side of the coin, so it's,
a lot better than 11.
yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Election, we talked
so,
about giving the extra money for elections, 2,500 and out. Don't you leave them.
well, I kind of questioned that. So the 2,500 was to boost up the clerk because of the extra.
Election, yes.
So, and the clerk and the treasurer make the same thing.
Without the bonus, yes.
You get 20.
The
So-
clerk gets 2,500 over the treasurer for elections.
Question should be adjusted for inflation.
No, it's the clerk and the treasurer make the same amount with the 2,500.
No,
Oh, no.
no, you add the two together.
It says the same here.
It's two different line items.
So that's the treasurer and this is you plus the 2,500.
Oh, plus the
Plus,
2,500.
that's what I'm saying, it's two separate line items. It's not one in place of the other. Oh, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, I should have said that.
Okay,
But I will say, we need to pay it, we're internally talking about that, but we're not allowed to pay the clerk extra money for statutory duties, which election are, we just have to set her wage to.
We just set the wage higher.
That's why
Okay.
you have to
Okay.
list it out like that.
So,
From what I've been reading in all of the scuttlebutt and
so
everything.
you tell me we should just change this and raise the salary and add those two figures together and that'd be.
That's how you're supposed to
Yes,
adopt it.
that's how you're
So
supposed
let's
to
do
adopt
that.
it.
So it'd be 27,915.
Okay, let's just do that.
I just did it that way for calculation.
Okay.
27,915.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, and then cross out that other
And on
line.
the resolution, I will list them out separately like you have here.
But the total is what.
But yes, the total, okay, yes,
but do
I
you
just
have
wanna
to?
make that clear.
You don't have.
No, you don't have to. It's a
You don't have
statutory
to.
requirement.
No, but to cover, so, okay, but to justify, in case they're, they question it on the audit. Just
Well,
to
we can pay
cover
the
and make,
treasurer and clerk whatever we want.
I think we'll be fine.
but.
I know what you're saying,
You have
but
the argument where the clerk and the treasurer have to get paid the same.
No, they don't.
just saying.
I'd say most townships
Because-
probably don't.
Whoever, no, most townships probably, well, probably not so much anymore, but they do. But because of all this election stuff and
Yeah.
all the changes, whoever takes this position is
Right.
gonna want that extra money.
Yeah, but it's in there now.
Yeah.
We've allowed for it if you look at that,
Yeah.
right?
Right, I know, but.
You tell me if you can list it on there. I'm not so sure you can put it on there.
It's,
I don't know.
it'll be there.
It'll be there one way or another. Okay. What else you got? Anything?
No, and again, this was just for discussion, so,
Okay, so. And the meeting things, we're keeping the $40 per meeting, you would suggest, okay,
Leave it alone,
okay.
just the way it is. That's the resolution.
is that for the
Salary,
trustees?
wage resolution.
Yeah, he suggested combining it into their wage, and I'm like, well, you
I
know,
don't think I had that on here. There's a
Do you-
$40 item for.
Not that this matters,
meetings.
but, years ago, the state, when I was, and I don't know how they pay now, we still get 1,200. We used to just take the money we got and give it to the liquor control person.
yeah, we
Is
do.
that the same now?
Yeah. It's in the, whoever does the liquor license inspections gets that $100 per month in their paycheck.
Oh, no, that's what I mean, but that hasn't ever gone up.
Mm-mm. I don't think we get it, well, I don't know, that's.
That's what I'm asking. 'cause
That's
it's
his
just-
branch.
I think you get 1,500 from the state, I'm not sure.
But that needs to be, you can't make that just a straight pass, so you need to set a number on it, right?
Right,
Yeah, because there's administrative stuff that covers too and all that stuff.
okay. No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just asking the question.
I mean, we budgeted for that at.
15.
12,
Involved 15.
Wrong page. 1,200 is what I budgeted, so.
Okay, so we're $50 off. Okay,
And
That's it.
We're good with Brown Township and their agreement, still 9,000,
yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Okay. And the fire chief is 9,360. Appeals board, okay, we'll change all these. Mhm. Permits and everything will remain the same, correct?
Correct, we're not changing the price on them. Well, I don't think we should.
You're looking at the wage and salary changes,
Yeah, why, you got something else?
No,
Okay,
the plan, all the planning and fields, they're all going at 4% then,
no,
no stay where they're at.
they go up 4%.
the wages salary chart?
Something like 6.
Oh, I'm sorry, I take that back. I know it's that, that's
I mean,
fine.
if you want, again, it's for discussion.
For discussion, yes,
I
yes,
think those guys work hard and.
yeah, I would agree.
Who?
Did somebody say something on
No, it's just kind
No,
there? Somebody coughed?
who works hard?
The full commissions and the committees.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Moving on?
yeah.
Okay,
So we went through the budget, kind of hit the highlights at the last meeting. You guys have had a chance to look at this. Do you have questions about anything or anything you want to change on it or tweak?
I think it looks pretty good.
Let me just take.
Shelley would like to allocate only 25% of the internet to the fire department and 75, so we can make that change.
That's fine.
Yeah, I just,
No, that's fine. I think Ed just changed that because he just put it in that way.
Well, the rest were 50. I thought it was a typo, so.
yeah, I'm sorry,
No,
I don't know why, they just have one computer.
no, I get it.
Oh, it just was one of my pet peeves. We're billing them here.
So Bob, on the building,
We didn't get the bid on the door back, did we? Okay.
I haven't seen it. Oh,
We've got the 12.5 in there to repaint the township hall. Are we really gonna do that this year? Is that in the plan?
That should be within the next 5 years.
Okay, so we can scratch that now and just know that it needs to be done. Okay.
But if you don't start thinking about it,
Capital building
Too late.
scratch.
you start to scale on.
Uh,
Yeah.
So I have one as well, building, where's that one?
While we're at it, talking. We had the guy come in and take a look at the door for price. Do you want the handicap entrance there or here?
Well, you know, get that big door in here.
This door will work for handicap. As it is right now, it's 38 inch.
Oh, it is?
That one will be 44 inch.
So wouldn't you rather have a bigger door be the handicap door or?
Well, if that's the case, then we ought to consider changing some of the handicap parking like we had.
So I think most of the people that park in those handicap spots will just walk in. They may have but if you have a wheelchair, they can just go around to this one.
Yeah,
It's just-
it's kind of rampy
That's the
over
only
there.
part I got thinking about it. You might, for handicap, we put here so that they could use that door,
Well, they could use that door anyways, right?
but it wouldn't have a push button.
Or is it cheaper to just put a push button on that and call it a day? If that's legally
Well, yeah.
wide enough.
You gotta do something with that double door. Cause the frame is rusting up. I mean, it's gonna happen probably this year. It's gonna break loose on the bottom and there's no fixing it. Where you get, what they plan on doing is taking that complete unit out, replacing the jamb with the new steel jamb, put a 44 door in and a side light. With an automatic push button.
Shelley, when you have elections, you don't like people coming in this door.
No, they have to go out that door.
Yeah, so that,
That
Right.
makes sense. So,
All right,
yeah,
but we're cool, and that's the way we
it
got.
has to go this way
and then just leave that door alone.
Let's leave it alone.
and it has to open this way.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
And
it.
don't open it the other way. You gotta push the
So,
button.
right from the get-go, our budget's gonna take $1,000 hit on supplies because our AED needs pads and a battery, so I don't know if you wanna make $1,000 adjustment.
Yeah, where do you want, is that in Township Hall?
Yeah, township
For
hall
repair and
supplies, yeah, batteries like
Dad?
Oh, yeah.
beeping, yeah.
Well, we'd hit you with the door.
That's
So for
like,
supplies, we need to add 1,000 there. I'll put that in. That's
yeah,
for the AED.
between the pads and the battery, it's $1,000,
Like.
like
That's starting to start.
right away. And they're on back order right now, so it'll hit right at the beginning of April.
Can't get that either? Okay,
Rob just wanted me to mention
Done.
that, because he tried ordering them.
okay, that's fine.
So
On there?
Shelley, so we're not duplicating work. You want me to make these changes and then get you the numbers so you can do your resolutions up or whatever, or how? do you-
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Well, I can do. Yes, the resolutions. You have
Template for it.
those resolutions, the big resolutions, the main ones.
Yes,
the
well,
fund
I will give
resolutions.
those to you so you can do what you need to do with them, but I'll
Yeah.
put the numbers. in
Yeah,
for 'em.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when we're approving the staff wages budget, I talked to Tom Greer about that. Last year, I recused myself from that voting for the whole thing because my wife's stuff is in there. He
Mhm.
suggested you could do that again, or if you wanted to break those into two, you can do it that way. He said either way. I'm happy to just do it as one and just recuse myself on that if that's easier for you, then it doesn't take another resolution to do it up, but I can't vote.
Otherwise, just split the resolutions between deputy and I don't think we need to do that. He could just.
I'll just recuse myself, because I
On
can't,
the whole, on the wage and salaries one.
for the staff, not for the
Yeah,
elected officials. I
okay.
can't vote on that.
The
So
resolution.
we can do it the same way we did last year. I just want to bring that up. so I
Oh,
remember to do it.
And otherwise do a separate one just for the
No.
deputies.
No, don't do that.
We don't have, I don't know why. Let him recuse himself.
I don't think that's gonna be
Oh.
controversial, so I'll just
Okay.
recuse and we'll go from there, so. But I just want to make sure we remember to do that.
Okay.
All right. Don, can I read this? I really want to.
Did we,
What? We're done.
I'd like to bring up some other things that you should be, that I think you should be just considering.
Well, here, let me read this first.
All right.
Okay, so I received a letter dated February 21st. What's today?
That's today.
Son of a gun. Onekama Township Board members. David Meister, supervisor, Ed Bradley, treasurer, Bob Blackmore, trustee, and Al Taylor, trustee. First and foremost, I want to express my appreciation for each and every one of you. The time and effort spent at what you do each and every day goes unseen for most. You do things over and beyond requirements. Deep discussions and thoughts have gone into my decision to pursue the next step in my future. This decision was not an easy one. It is a life-changing in every aspect, has nothing to do with anyone or anything regarding Onekama or Onekama Township. It's strictly a decision for my family. Effective March 8th at 4 p.m. 2024, please accept my resignation as Onekama Township clerk. Best regards, Shelley Johnson.
Damn.
So we have to, someone make a motion, you have to accept, you cannot not accept, right?
Can't not accept.
I'll make a motion that we
Okay.
accept her.
With regrets, I'll support that, but happy for Shelley and her new chapter. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So discussion, none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so. Put that on the website.
That being said,
Now,
And big
That being
bold
said,
letters
what?
with arrows.
that being said, what do we do? Amber goes temporary clerk.
it's up to the board if she asks for, to be appointed, I guess. Or that opens up a whole can of worms, yeah.
Boy, you got a clerk, now you don't have a clerk at the eighth.
We do till the 8th,
Till the eighth.
yeah.
At 4
You're gonna wait
o'clock.
till the eighth to make the decision what you're gonna
March
do.
8th or at 4 o'clock? Or
March 8th
4th?
at 4 o'clock.
March 8th.
So if March 8th at 4 o'clock, we make that decision, huh? Hey,
No.
buddy,
No, I think
No.
you have a special meeting, Bob, before March
that's what I'm
8th.
trying to tell you.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I didn't understand the point of your question. No, I think you better have a special meeting.
That doesn't even begin, oh, you wanna talk about that at the special meeting?
I think you put something out on the township website along with that and telling people you're seeking applications for appointments to fill the position, I think is the proper way to do that, right?
But we could just appoint
Or you could just appoint
the
him.
deputy since she's got
You
the
can-
experience
You
and
can
then go
appoint a
from there.
temporary clerk too.
Right.
But
Well, it is temporary
probably,
clerk. You're
yeah,
filling the
she's
position
not,
till the election.
That's just what I said.
Oh, I'm sorry, I make it
You
more.
wanna
of
go-
it. So how do you wanna do
It's
it?
temporary clerk.
I think if you asked Amber, she would probably say temporarily.
Okay.
She's not into.
Okay. But do you put it out there that we'll be seeking a clerk, or you can do it either way, I think. I don't think you have to
I
accept.
think it's your obligation to assign or you have a temporary clerk.
I agree.
And if they want, if that clerk wants to run, she has to do the normal thing that anybody would have.
Correct.
You
I don't think you'd
can
have to advertise it.
ask somebody or someone can, you can take applications or whatever, and then you appoint somebody, obviously, just,
But
You know.
if you appoint her.
and then they have to
Amber
run for
as
office.
temporary Clerk.
She always
And
fills
somebody
it.
else in the left field says, I would like to come in.
It doesn't matter, you're only appointing her to fill you can appoint anyone to fill the position from now until. the
And it's only
election.
8 months.
Yeah,
it's-
they have
It's
to,
not a big deal, but.
whoever, somebody
It's a
has to
reality.
run for office and fill out the paperwork by April 23rd.
Right. My point is only, you can do it both ways. You can either just appoint someone, Amber the deputy, or you can put something out there and say, we're seeking applications if you wanna take this. I don't think that's a smart thing to do, cause she's already here and knows the.
And Shelley, she's willing to serve temporarily or whatever. That's clear.
She said so.
They had that conversation.
Well,
She would rather stay as deputy, but as long as I'm gone, she doesn't really have a position. It's up to the new clerk.
So, let me ask it another way. If we advertise and somebody applies for it, and we decide that we want to appoint them instead of Amber, they don't necessarily have to name Amber deputy, but they'd
No.
be foolish not to.
I would agree with that.
Because
She's
they
a
don't-
very good deputy.
And they don't, necessarily have that experience, so I think you potentially put the township at risk of not having a qualified clerk in place for that 8 months. Not that we couldn't have somebody that didn't know what they're doing and get elected, or didn't have experience. this way, at least we're protected for 8 months with somebody who knows the job. That's the way I look
She's,
at it.
yes, Amber is excellent with the elections. I mean, she's familiar with the day-to-day.
I will,
Going on.
advertising. If somebody's looking, you know. No matter what you do.
actually,
No matter what we do, your next clerk is gonna have to learn to be a clerk. She's gonna have to go to school.
That's true.
Yes,
agree.
Yes,
I agree.
that's
So
why
it
the
doesn't matter.
training and the budget.
It only matters,
Other than-
it only matters how you do this to that point, I agree. Yeah, Dan, go ahead.
Well, just kind of outside perspective, I would recommend that it be advertised. And any candidate that applies considered and then make the decision. It looks better when it's more. open.
Yeah, I mean, what did we do last, we appointed you though, we appointed
We
you
already
because you
ran.
ran, and we appointed, that's what happened, that's right. And cause I begged you, basically, I remember the conversation, actually.
Did I extract any concessions?
No, but you put me on hold, I'll have to let you know.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Okay, what's your next?
The other thing is I'd like the board to think about, I didn't say do, I said think, discuss. Having an outside firm, a third party, take care of taxes, state taxes, federal taxes,
Bookkeeping, you mean?
bookkeeping. And.
Oh, handle the payroll and all that.
And no, not the pay, everything but the payroll. They can do invoices twice a week. All we have to do is code them here, and get them to the whoever is gonna do it, they take care of the invoices. Bills paid. And we'll do payroll locally. That'll free up some time for the clerk to do FOIAs. Just
I don't think we should outsource the bill paying, but I think the opposite. I think we could hire the CPA to do the quarterly payroll tax returns, make sure the money gets transferred, make sure all that balances. That's where we've had some challenges in the past.
well, that,
But the
That
bill-
part of it, I agree, I think you should pay bills in turn.
Monthly and quarterly.
Yeah, there's a way internally for the bill paying to change that process with the software we have, if that's something that we want to consider. To streamline that and to have more sets of eyes on it, that we can easily do that. So we have that capability. What we don't have is maybe all the knowledge base we need to properly do those taxes and,
well, 1 out of 2 for me ain't bad, I'll take the one.
that's the one where there's more.
No, it's a good
But
suggestion.
that's where there's more risk too, because you screw up with the federal, with the tax returns and they get.
Slap you.
But that's something that our current CPA could easily do. If that's of interest, I can talk to them about that and get an estimate from them.
And he is scheduled to come in June for the pre-audit.
So.
Oh,
The
go ahead,
auditing
Mike.
firm requested that we get them here earlier so that we can make sure we get all the entries before they come, because that caused them some grief, I guess, last year. Is that early enough for, when is the audit scheduled?
We don't have it scheduled yet.
Okay, they're coming in, planning in June.
Mhm.
So we can talk and figure that out.
Okay,
Fine,
you done?
yes.
Rob, you got some public comment? None?
Oh, actually, I do have one thing here, sorry. Rob got the real numbers on when we have to make the payments for the chassis and the
Okay.
motors. I had placeholders in here. So, the chassis payment is due July 24. That's $303,000, $703. And the progress payment of $185,000 is due in August or September. So I will need to modify those numbers in here to get the real one.
Accommodate those, okay.
Then the final payment is due, probably estimated March 2025, so even that could be in this
This
next
year.
fiscal year. I will pencil that in. Depending on where all that falls, there, we may have to do an interfund loan from the general fund to the fire fund temporarily until we get more revenues to pay that back. It just depends on timing. And then on the rescue unit, we made a payment of 68,866, and then the remaining one is 26,037. That's estimated February or March of 24. We haven't gotten an invoice yet, have we, for that?
No,
Okay, so that's probably
The
gonna.
thing's gotta be getting close to being done, right?
Next week.
Oh, it is,
Okay.
okay.
So
good.
I'll make sure that's in for the current.
okay,
fiscal
current,
year,
first.
What do you get
or
in for
whatever,
the-
or take it out if it's in the budget.
Probably 22.5. That'll be, yeah, 22.5 coming in to cover the rescue vehicle.
Did we sell that, or that's what we asked?
Got an offer probably tomorrow morning for
Okay.
22.5.
Do we think that's a fair value for that?
Yes,
Yeah.
Is it? What year is that?
there's a set of tires that go with that too, you know.
I think we're
Sorry,
asking
15.
25.
15?
It's got 17,000 miles.
Yeah, low miles. You know what though, for 22, yeah, probably is fair. I mean, I don't know if you pay much more, it's 9 years
There's a
old.
set of tires down
But
at
That's
Manistee for that car.
probably not we have
Up
to
in the
give
show.
Josh a cut
Good
out of
tire.
that, because he's selling it for us.
Oh, how much does he charge?
I'm
Rob,
not
how much
sure.
is the charge to sell
Don't know that yet.
it? I'm gonna probably have to pay 23.5 now.
Covers commission.
Yeah,
It won't be much.
no, okay.
So we'll have to have a special meeting to.
Discuss,
to Prove
pass
that,
that, approve
right,
that.
if we're gonna sell it, and then, what else were we?
We're taking all the stuff out of there? I mean, we're not selling it equipped, or what do we do?
Taking it all
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a price for a stripped down car, so that's even better, I mean.
Well, it's just, no, it still has, you're not taking the
No,
seats
no,
out
but
of
the
it.
light, but the lights and anything else.
Not taking the light bar off, are you?
Oh, what are you taking out of it?
All the medical supplies.
Oh, yeah.
And the radio, all that good stuff, but it'll go with the lights and stuff.
Okay.
But we taking the radio off too.
No, we're not.
No,
Where you getting a new radio?
yeah,
You know,
because of county going on.
We're gonna
Oh,
drive
800,
by
so they don't-
Blackmore's house,
Okay.
squawking on that
You know,
radio.
he just got it advertised like 4 other kind of rescue for fire departments, is that okay? Would some of the general public buy that?
Well, if he's got it sold.
I mean, no, I'm just saying, would it sell for more than the general public? I don't know.
I doubt it.
We're still 9 years
Look at-
old.
So can we go back to Bob's?
Dan's over
comment
there,
about-
I'd buy that.
Dan's comment about advertising, that's 2.5 weeks away.
Yeah, I know.
So that needs to go out tomorrow, and we need to figure out when the things need to come back in. And then we're gonna have to figure out some kind of an interview process, if they're gonna do that. if they're
Yeah.
gonna end. So, yeah, 2.5 weeks to do that.
It's not much time. So do you put it in the paper? Nobody reads it. I'm sorry. I read the paper every day.
I know you do.
Well,
So-
if you called them tomorrow to get it in the paper, it probably wouldn't get in until Monday. More
Monday.
than like, maybe Saturday, but I'm like,
Tomorrow, Thursday, I could do it for Saturday.
maybe Saturday.
But definitely Monday. How many days you want me to run it?
No, you put on there seeking applications for a clerk. Or,
And we can throw that on the website.
Yeah, can we do
just
that
need to know
tomorrow?
when that's
Yeah.
coming, when those are due back, and give them a week
can't give
How
much
many
more.
days do you want it in the paper?
once.
It's Saturday.
Not worth that much.
No one
I'm
is
just
gonna look,
joking.
I hate to say it, I'll just say it, nobody, to me, nobody looks at the paper. I do, and you know that, I come in and read and then, but I don't know if most people do.
Well, a lot of the people that do the online version.
Yeah.
You don't get the classifieds in the online, you have to click on the e-edition and drill down to the
Oh, I didn't
paper.
know that.
So the
I
online.
have the online version and it always boots me off.
So, but if we do that, we just need to decide so we can get on the website, because that's where the primary.
Okay, so I think we run
In
the ad.
big red,
I don't care, okay,
urgent.
right on the front page, okay. How long, can you do that tomorrow? Get on the front page of the website? Can you?
I have to work down at Manistee Township and then after that. I could do it from Manistee Township,
Probably not gonna be so busy.
probably not. Yeah,
For the walk-ins?
yeah,
Yeah, okay,
7:30 to 12:30.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, call me if you need, let's just do that, let's put it on the front page, let's run it one time. Let's have the applications due by, what is today?
21st.
You're gonna have, you gotta have it by, before 27th.
No, we give them till Monday.
Hey, David,
25th?
The 26th?
David,
No. Al, are you saying something?
yeah. I wanted to
Hey,
know,
you gotta speak into the mic.
are we getting ready to wrap it up? I've got a medical.
Yes, yep, yes, go ahead, you're fine,
Okay. Thank you.
thanks.
Oh, it's the 20.
You want the 26th?
The 21st, that's a Wednesday, right?
That's today.
Give them till,
The first.
first.
March first, okay, that's fine.
And then we'll decide.
Okay.
Meeting after.
Meetings on the second.
The meeting's gonna have to be pretty close.
If you get applications in, you can start interviewing right away.
I keep telling you, man, get
Saying
on.
applications like in plural, okay, whatever, fine, okay.
All you need's one.
I understand that, we hope you get one, so. We done, are we done?
Done.
I'm done if you guys
Public
are.
comment?
I did public comment, I'm sorry, public comment again.
One other thing.
See?
Is there any possibility the state would ever claw back that SAW grant?
Do what?
They don't do that, because there is a provision in there that they could.
I've never seen that
Never
happen. I
seen
mean, if it, I suppose I would never say never with the state, but
Would they what to it?
Want it back.
Oh,
No, I don't think so.
Well, I don't know if it's a practice, it's,
They never have, but,
hopefully they never will.
well, cross that bridge, but yeah, you could say that, I guess, I hope
Well,
not.
it's in the grant term.
Yeah.
If the asset management plan isn't put in place or the thing isn't built.
but I think they fully understood how we were using it and, you know, got the
Yeah.
blessing to, so I think it's
I
really.
think you're okay.
well, they don't want it.
Okay, I'm gonna adjourn, thank you.
26.
Did you look up the values, was I wrong?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll look it up with you. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording. Hang on, I gotta.
See everyone on the all.
Bye-bye.